Now, let us understand, okay, what are the expectations of a global manufacturing company from HR, okay, from HR, handling Indian operations, offices, and Indian vendors. So let's understand where may you be positioned, okay? You must know the expectations of a global manufacturing company which intends to set up presence in India. How would it set up presence in India? It can create a company in India. It's called a subsidiary. Okay. It can create a manufacturing subsidiary in India. That is one way. Another way is that you may be part of a manpower supplier or a contractor. So you may get a contract. You may get a third party contract from a global manufacturing company which has an India operation to supply manufactured products. Like Winstron, for example, was supplying products to Apple. Okay. So, like that, you can also be a vendor. Okay. And you can be employed with such a vendor which has a contract from a global manufacturer. Okay. Now you have to understand that what is the company going to expect. Okay. So, firstly, you must understand that a global manufacturing company will always place a premium on legal compliance. Do you know why? In India, it's not been so important at all points in time, but for a global company it's very important. Okay, so it is difficult to obtain. So understand, if you have any international company and they want to raise, let's say, so they are going to expand, right? That's a large operation. Frequently they will need bank loans, they will need private equity. Okay, so what happens is that this becomes very difficult to obtain if you are not compliant with the legal system of a particular country, or if you are known to be offering bribes or any of that. Globally it becomes a big problem. I'll tell you why. When the investor invests, or the banker or the financier gives you the loan, they will conduct a diligence. Okay, when they create a diligence, yeah, image and reputation is a big issue for a global company. And when they conduct a diligence, they check your labor compliances and all of that. And if they are not done, and there are notices, all of that is pending, then they will be like, these red flags can be a deal breaker. Why will they be a deal breaker? Sometimes the fines in Indian law are not so high. Okay, but the consequence of regularly not complying with laws is a problem, because as a culture it's a problem. It will hit the reputation, and foreign laws have a very high penalty. If you look at the new labor codes, you will find that 50,000 rupees is the fine. Okay, it's not much. Earlier laws are even lesser, except that some laws have imprisonment. That's where people used to be more scared of compliance. But fine amount has increased, but only to 50,000 rupees. That's not so much. It's not going to kill people. Okay. So reputation is an issue, definitely. The new labor codes, by the way, have reduced, like there is no imprisonment unless there is repetitive offense. Multiple offenses may there is imprisonment. Okay. Now the question is, I am saying this with reference to code on wages. Now let's look at this. So this part you understood, that when there are too many red flags, meaning too many legal non-compliance issues, investment becomes very difficult to get. Then manufacturing sector obviously has a very high amount of compliance requirements under labor laws. There is very high Factories Act compliance. There is ESI related compliances and compensation. These are the new additional things that are there. There is, of course, there is your trade unions, industrial disputes related work, union recognition, settlements. All this work is there. So manufacturing sector is very heavy on compliance. Okay. Now, US has a law. Now, what used to happen earlier, people would settle matters by, offering bribes or unauthorized payments. This was very common. Okay. And now it's getting harder gradually as things are getting digitized, but still, it still is a market reality in India. Okay. And any foreign company which does business in India actually struggles with this. You know why? Because you can see this page. US has a law called Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. The name of the law only you'll see, Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. So US company engaging in any corruption abroad is liable for it. They have their market regulator like SEC, Securities Exchange Commission. It is like SEBI is there in India. Okay, like SEBI is there in India, SEC is there in US. They have collected 4.6 billion in FCPA enforcement actions. So in FCPA, there are criminal penalties and there is something called disgorgement of profits. You give away your profits to the government because of enforcement fine. Okay, so this is the link I'll show you. This is the detailed article, and which are the big companies, because global manufacturing companies would want to set up operations in India, and they'll care that the fines are not there. Okay, look at the names. Big names are there: Ericsson, Siemens. Look at the amounts of fine imposed in different years under FCPA. Okay, now I'll show you what has happened over these years itself. Okay, like list of fines in 2020. That's also not a very small figure. Okay, look, FCPA cases. Okay, Goldman Sachs, for something they did in Malaysia, they paid 1 billion to settle. JNF Investments in Brazil. Okay, Herbalife Nutrition, something they did in China. Bribery scheme orchestrated by its China subsidiary. Okay, so what happens is that your subsidiary in India can't do it. Your even the contractors or consultants or third party agents, they also can't do it. Okay, so these amounts are very, very huge. That is US law. But the thing is that when you pay, if you are operating in India, this US law will apply to you if you are a US company, Indian subsidiary, or a contractor of that company, or a vendor, or a vendor. Okay, so the US law applies to a US company in India. UK law applies to UK company in India. Okay, the only difference is this: if US law said that you cannot bribe US government, then you would say it's not applicable in India. But US law is free. US government or UK government is free to extend its law to its own nationals. Understand, its own nationals, its own companies anywhere across the world. Okay, even Indian law, if you commit a crime abroad, in Indian law also will apply to you. Okay, if you commit murder abroad, Indian law will apply to you because you are an Indian and you are abroad. Okay, so Indian penal code applies to you. So like this, if you work, yeah, so if you are working for a US or UK company, then this will apply to you. Now what does it, even if they set up a company in India, that's called an Indian subsidiary. Okay, or if they are having you as a third party consultant also, so this becomes very important to that you know about this and you are aware of this. Criminal penalties are also there, up to $2 million fine or 250,000 for individuals, and imprisonment of up to 5 years. So this is for the US people, and they would be really mindful of this. They give a lot of heavy duty work to Indian law firms for forensic investigation every year to ensure that no such bribes were paid in India, because their top management is at risk. Okay, that is the problem. Their top management is at risk and their global profits are at risk. You saw the kind of fines that if that SEC, the kind of disgorgement amounts that they are paying to SEC. UK has become stricter since 2010 than even US. They say that there is unlimited fine and prison of up to 10 years. So UK is also as heavy. Okay, what does this mean? That if you're working for a foreign company, for global manufacturing company, then anti-bribery will be a key part for HR to look at. Understood? It's new and it's very important. Okay, in India, who does anti-bribery work? Mostly when there is a bribery case, when you already there's a case going on, then a criminal lawyer will do it. But abroad, what is happening? They are training all the business people so that they don't get even implicated in a case, right? So that beforehand you're aware ki what you don't have to do. In India, it's like everyone does it. If you are caught, there's a problem. In abroad, it's not like that. So now, who leads L&D and training initiatives in any organization? It's HR, right? So if you are working in a global manufacturing company, it will be your job to train people on these areas.